What is up, guys? Good to see you all. My name is Jacob Michlewetz, and I am the district manager in the Lincoln Park office, and I will be talking to you today about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, which is dominating push periods. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So, it comes down to three things, and I'm going to break these three things down a little bit further. Number one is why push. Number two is your setup and your preparation. And number three would be your execution. So let's go and break these down. Let's start with the why. Like one of my favorite authors and keynote speakers, Simon Sinek says, start with why. So number one is to start with why. Now, when you think about your why, it's your reason why. When the why is strong enough, the how will reveal itself. For those of you that didn't jot that one down, when your reasons or when your why is strong enough, the how reveals itself. Most people think they got to start with the action plan, but I say always start with why, just like what Simon says. Now, maybe you're thinking to yourself, maybe I need to make some extra money. Maybe I really want to stretch myself. Maybe I want to gain some experience. Some reasons may be more compelling to others for other people. As a leader and as leaders, we must create our purpose. We must get excited about something for the sake of getting excited about it. So you got to create your why. And I'm going to break down what some good whys are and what some of my whys were. And, maybe it's setting a new record. I know that's what it was for Connor Olson. He initially just wanted to do a 10K push, but he ended up going after a $72,000 SC2 push. And he ended up getting the silver cup that year and absolutely made history. Why can't that be you? So let's go and break down the why to three simple things here. We'll start off with income, leadership, and then mindset. So first things first, let's go ahead and jump into income. So this number right here, 21,656, is a number that I will never forget. And the reason why was because that's what I sold during my biggest push period in my career, which was SC2. And in that push period, I was able to make a significant amount of income. I had a goal of hitting 20K in sales, and I had never done anything like that before. So this was something that I was honestly low-key very scared to do. And what I decided, I built up my strong reasons why. I prepared. I wish I prepared a little bit better, but I made it happen. I hit my goal. And I made an extra $9,500. All these photos that you see here are of some customers that I showed Cutco to in that push period. And what this allowed me to do, by the way, this allowed me to start saving money. This changed my perspective of money, my psychology of money. Let me go and share this with you. What I started to do was I started to save a lot more money. On the slide here, what you'll notice is that right here, I'm a third on the list. You can see Steven Zane, Carlos Shoemaker, Mike Foreman, Dan Hyden, Chaz Brown on this list, of course. Definitely love those people. Mucho. Chess Hoffman. Excellent. And as far as one thing about this was that with this push period, this allowed me to save a lot of money. The first screenshot, you'll see it's a Snapchat story screenshot. Seabass, my older brother, sent me this photo. And this was right after my SC2 push. I had $11,500 saved. And this was before my sophomore year of college. This was between my freshman and sophomore years of college. I was able to save over 5 figures. This was something that I never thought would be possible or normal. But this started to change my psychology and my perspective on money. This transpired into that following year, which is the second screenshot behind the first one, where I had $12,500 saved. And this is after, paying for school and things like that too. So now that's also taken part as a whole new level of my life now where, I'm going to be buying my first property this year in 2021. I'm going to be buying my first real estate property, multifamily home. And that wouldn't have happened, and that would have never been possible if I didn't start changing my perspective or my relationship with money. So withholdings, this is a great way to increase your startup for withholdings. It's also a great way to be a leader. I'm sure you've heard the quote, all ships rise with the tide. And during a push period, you get to be unleashed. You don't have to, you get to. That's another little tip there. Cross out, if you ever write down, I have to do this, Cross that out. Write down I get to. You get to wake up in the morning. You get to be on this call today. You get to listen to me speak. You get to be a leader. How powerful does that sound? Wow. You get to be unleashed. Think about the influence. This is a phenomenal way to influence over push periods because all these new representatives are coming to watch you on these demos. Maybe bring one, maybe bring two, maybe bring three, maybe bring 5 people on a demo. There's no limit, especially with Zoom. And you got to field train them. You got to change their lives. Think about that ripple effect. Think about how much value you can add to someone if this is a brand new experience for them. You will be a person of value. Your future identity is going to be dramatically different from where it is today. One of my favorite quotes from my life coach, Mike Chu. I don't know where exactly he got this from. Maybe he created it himself. But he says, Jacob, you will be paid in this life based off of how much value you add to the marketplace. So if I'm adding a ton of value as an assistant manager to my team or to my office, that's going to dramatically influence the trajectory of my life, especially with leadership. Next, I'm going to go and dive into skill and mindset. You will level up with push periods. Adversity makes you stronger. Change your relationship with adversity. Think about what's the gift in this adversity rather than, this is so hard. You become a high performer and you develop high performance habits. Guys, I wanted to quit like 12 times in my SC2 push back in 2017. I was thinking, what's the point? Why am I doing this? Is my life going to be really different after this? And I decided to commit to the end, and I'll talk about that later. But I don't think about those thoughts anymore. I don't think about what's the point anymore because I know that I'm going to make it happen, and I know I'm going to do my very best in whatever I do. You increase your standards. Guys, yes, it's 17 days for the SC2 push. Few days plus or minus, well, minus for the other pushes, but most people won't remember those 17 days in their life, but this was a period in the span of my life that I will never forget because it just changed me in such a strong way. I started becoming a leader. I had that leader mindset, leader mentality, rather than that victim mentality. If you think about some of the things on these slides here, leaders talk about ideas, victims talk about people. Leaders execute on goals, victims procrastinate on goals. Victims associate with other victims. Leaders associate with other winners. Victims are stuck in the past. Leaders are inspired by the future. Victims, most of their time goes to leisure. Leaders, most of their time goes towards learning. Victims tear people down and leaders lift people up. This is a screenshot from my SC2 back in 2017. And as you can tell, I mean, a few years ago, it still holds a very special place in my heart, and it was a great reminder for me at the time to start leveling up. And then the cookie jar. For those of you that know David Goggins, he calls this figurative cookie jar a collection of all of his tough experiences in his life that whenever he's feeling down or whenever he's about to do something very difficult, he reaches into his cookie jar and he pulls out one of those experiences and reminds himself of how awesome he is and how strong he is. And I recommend that if you don't have a lot of those experiences, have this be one of them. This will change how you view yourself. And of course, it will change your relationship with money as well. So now we've talked about the why. Let's talk about the setup. So as far as the setup, comes down to 3 keys here. Number 1, the assignments. Number 2, these are so fun, the habits. And number 3, find an accountability buddy. So let's start off with habits. Yes, to the moon. Dogecoin to the moon. As far as this goes, you've got to start with your habits. Your habits influence everything. Your mental energy. Are you selling weekly? Start selling weekly now. Start doing 3, 4, 5 demos now so that by the time a push comes around, you've got those fresh leads. How are you taking care of yourself? How's your physical energy? How's your sleep? How's your exercise? How's your diet? If you need help with anything, whether it's selling, whether it's advice on physical energy, reach up. Your managers, your assistant manager team. Vector Connect audios. YouTube. There's so many amazing resources out there. Just reach up and find them. Now I put this image here of Dogecoin to the moon because, with momentum, crazy things happen. As I'm sure many of you have seen with something as interesting as Dogecoin that really holds no utility in terms of a currency. Momentum caused it to skyrocket. Momentum is what allowed all these eyes to be on it. And what Mr. Maxwell says, and this was huge. Mr. Maxwell, John Maxwell, he writes many books on leadership. And he says, when you have no momentum, even the simplest tasks feel impossible. You feel stuck and overwhelmed by failure. Like a train at a dead stop, it's hard to get moving again. Your morale is low and the future is uncertain. But in contrast, check this out. An organization with momentum, or a person with momentum, is like a train that's moving at 60 miles per hour. You could build a steel reinforced concrete wall across the tracks and the train would plow right through it. If you can harness the power of momentum, you can achieve anything. That's powerful. That's what I'm excited about for you. Find that accountability buddy. What does that look like? Let me tell you. This was my accountability buddy, Michael Foreman. We're brothers from different mothers. Brother from another mother. And we grew up in the same office in Oak Lawn. And as far as who you want to look for in an accountability buddy, look for someone that maybe you could create a positive sense of competition with, that has great energy. But remember to RYOR, run your own race. Find this accountability buddy for pushes throughout the summer, for the summer. Guys, I'm going to show you a photo here and a little bit of a conversation I had with Michael Foreman, and this made me smile so big because of how awesome it was to see again. But Michael Foreman and I always built each other up. We made sure to hold each other accountable. We were at Champs Clubs in the mornings. We were expecting to see each other there. It's kind of like when you have that gym buddy where you go to the gym with a friend and you know that you're going to be held more accountable when you're going to the gym with someone else. This is kind of a similar concept. Maybe you both want to win an All-American scholarship this summer. Find that accountability buddy, and I guarantee that the odds of both of you earning that will be dramatically higher. You could find an accountability buddy in any office. Ask your manager who's good to have an accountability buddy of. Maybe you ask them if there's anyone that you could partner with outside of your office. Maybe it's someone in your division. Maybe it's one of your PRs. Who knows? Just ask. But check out this text conversation. This is one of my favorite screenshots that I've ever taken in my life from Michael Foreman. Now, as far as Michael Foreman, we were texting. I took the screenshot on the same day that it happened, but as you can see, today at 4:53, I said, slow day so far, 182 CPO on 2 demos. Selling 1K on this demo. So same, I'm moving a little slow too. Selling 1K on this Payless one too. Said, mindset, baby. Said, not real if you don't call it. Exactly. And then we went to our demos. Hour later, I said a word there. Yeah, bro. Homie, 1016 CPO. Same. I called him right away. I was like, no way, you just sold a homemaker. He said, yes, sir. And that was one of my favorite things because we just lifted each other up. We made it happen. We knew that we were there to support each other. When something was a little tough with our mindsets, like that's when we would start reaching out to like our manager. But we kept each other positive. We kept each other supported. And that was so much fun. Next would be assignments. One of my favorite assignments is the 50 Reasons Why assignment. This was a photo that we took in our office during SE2. When the money's calling, make sure to answer. Michael Foreman, you can see this little Snapchat screenshot. But start with your 50 reasons why. Why do you want to hit this goal? If you have never done this before, with whatever you do in the future, have this be one of the strongest things that you do before you do something difficult. Maybe you go into a tough year of college. Maybe you're going into med school. Maybe you're taking an MCAT. Whatever it is, as you prepare for it, as you plan for it, start with why. Start with your 50 reasons why. Ask for help. in building that why. Why do you want to go big? Guys, those internal reasons are the most important. Who are you becoming as a person? Who does the future you look like, talk like? Who do they hang out with? What do they do? This is going to affect the trajectory of your life. Ask for help in building your names list. Ask positive seeking questions. Questions like, how can I? Versus, what if? What if a meteor crashed into my house and I lost all my names and numbers? Well, that doesn't happen anymore. We got Q anyway. But ask yourself and ask your manager, how can I type questions? Those are powerful. Start developing those positive habits now. Build your sales confidence now. That's going to change exactly how your push goes. If you need help with that, of course, guys, reach out to your manager. What I love about our company is that all of our managers, all of our assistant managers, that was cool, they all started in the same place as you did. I was at this assistant manager boot camp. And we know what these pushes did for us. We know how we felt, and we could carry you through success. Reach out to an assistant manager that has been an assistant manager in the past. Reach out to your manager. Reach up, and we'll be able to help you out. And we got you. I promise. So we've gone through this, the why, the setup. Now let's talk about the execution. Now, as far as the execution goes, you want to show up the right way. We're also going to talk about mindset and then committing to the end. On your marks, get set. I don't know if it's on your mark or on your marks. Anyway, on your mark, get set, go. All right, let's first start off with showing up the right way. Oh, yeah. Show up the right way, like this guy. You got to come prepared to phone jams. Have that names and numbers list organized. Who are you calling? What order are you calling them in? Leave that negative energy in the waiting room. Leave it in the waiting room. I used to say leave it at the door, but leave it in the waiting room. When you're in the office, especially as an AM, when you're on Zoom, you are a positive. You're like a beacon of light. You're helping others look towards success. Have those necessary convos prior to your push. Maybe you got to talk to a family member about getting some more names and numbers. Maybe you got to sit down with your boyfriend or girlfriend and tell them about this 17-day or this 11-day or this 12-day push that you might not be super available in, but hey, after you'll take them out on a really nice date, or you'll take them out, take mom or dad or a significant other out on a really nice date. I remember before my 21K SC2 push, I took my girlfriend Patty and I took her out on a nice date, and she really wanted this like nice pair of shoes, like NMDs. I don't know if you guys are familiar, Adidas NMDs, and I got them for her before the push, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be working really hard over these 17 days. I know, like, you know, this little date that we went on wasn't anything crazy, but I just wanted to talk to you about, you know, what's gonna be happening over the next 17 days, and then when I hit my goal, Patty, because I will. When I hit my goal, and I'd love your support with this, I'm going to take you out on a really fancy dinner. A really fancy dinner, and it's going to be so much fun. But I'm going to really need your support. This is going to be really hard, but it's going to be very worth it for me, for you, for us, for our future. That's the conversation I had. You could have any similar conversation depending on who you're talking to. But make sure you show up the right way. Have those convos. Come prepared. Guys, the new reps will look towards you. How many calls are they making? How many demos are you booking? Again, all ships rise with the tide. Come with a bulletproof mindset. Guys, understand that in your push, 1/3 of your days will be great days. 1/3 will be average days, and 1/3 will be low sales days. For me, guys, I knocked out my first 4 low days right away. If you divide that 17 days divided by 3, it's about 5-6 days. So my first 4 of my 5/6 low days were knocked out in the first 4 days of the push. I started the push off on like the worst note possible. I was not prepared. I share this with you because it was tough. Don't be me. Plan a little bit better. So in my first 4 days, I remember doing it was close to 11 appointments. I didn't have a ton of appointments in my first 4 days of the push. I ended up selling on my very first demo. I sold a pair of super shears, and I sold them as a sharpener, and I gave them I think it was like 2 cutting boards for free. It was the CPO. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, second demo no sale, third demo no sale, fourth demo no sale. I was just like, oh man, did I forget how to sell? Like, I'm not good at this anymore. Like, what do I do? And guys, realize that challenges will come. Your plan will get demolished by obstacles. That's how life is. Realize that any challenge is a gift, and the greatest gift we can be given. Life is way too short to take it seriously. You will become a better person after this push. But my first 4 days, I sold like $700. There were people out already at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for the push, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna hit my goal. I'm so behind. I was like that really logical person. I was like, okay, if I got to sell 20,000 over 17 days, I got to sell at least 1,000 per day. I should be at least at 4,000 right now. What the heck? But you got to realize that 1/3 of your days will be low, 1/3 will be average, and 1/3 will be great. I stuck to the process, and I hit my goal. I had my biggest week of my career. I had a 10.7K week. That next week, not that current week when I had that lower week, but I ended up making it happen. And realize that your best days will come after your worst days. Your best demos will come after your worst demos. You've got to run your own race. Very first demo of the push, I remember Aaron Gokin, he goes out and he sells 2 flatware chests on one demo, and I sold my measly 100 CPO order. But biggest lesson I wish I learned earlier was to run my own race. Whatever's happening on the outside, as long as you stick to the process and you stick to your goal and you stick to your habits, you will hit yours too. Guys, if you can push yourself for 2 weeks, if I could push myself for 2 weeks, I knew that my life would never be the same. Mines are like elastic. They're not plastic. I learned a lot more of what I was made of, and no one could ever take that away from me. So just focus on the process. Don't focus on others. Do this for you. And just to end with this, don't be afraid to take risks. But honestly though, I do want to share with you guys one of my favorite videos I've ever had in my life.
My name is Jacob. I'm the sales manager from the Oak Lawn. Legacy! Where business is open! And we put it we put it I sold 21,656 CPOs.
My guy. That was Carlos at the end. But who's going to be that next push story, guys? That whenever I need to like pump myself up, I just watch that video. And I pump myself up because I'm like, man, who is that guy? That guy's awesome. That's who I gotta be right now. Who's gonna give this message next? Maybe it's you. Think about what's your push story gonna look like. How will this affect your life in the most positive way in the near future? Guys, that ripple effect of a push will 100% affect the trajectory of your life for the positive. I'm excited for all of your pushes. If you guys need anything at all, I'm an open book. I'm here to help you out. I care about you. I care about your goals more than anything. I'll see you on the newsletter, and hope you have a great rest of your event. Peace!